This woman who is over 100 years old is awesome. Robbers break into home in broad daylight. A few hours later he left, leaving a dazed woman behind, but she didn't call the police. Instead, she cleaned up her room, she washed herself up again and went to the hospital to check for infections. When she returned, she replaced all the doors and windows. She also bought a bottle of anti-vice spray and an axe. The next day, Sister Pei went to work as if nothing had happened. Sister Pei is just over 53 years old. She is the owner of a company. Sister Pei is a typical strong woman, cold and ruthless at work. A few hours after being assaulted, Sister Pei did not feel any terror. She even told her friends around her about the incident. That day Pei received a harassing text message and knew what kind of underwear Pei was wearing today. Sister Pei looked around, only saw a photographer working overtime. Since there was no concrete evidence, Pei could only bury the matter in her mind for the time being. The next day Pei went to work as usual. Suddenly all the computers in the company were all playing a video of Pei being pranked. Sister Pei immediately asked the network staff to find the IP address of the other party. The technical staff found a clue in a colleague's computer. There was a video of the abuse on the colleague's computer, but there was no direct proof that he was the culprit. Sister Pei decided to go and check it out herself. She opened the project file and saw that it was the employee's work, but the employee said he didn't spread it himself. Sister Pei immediately asked him to take off his trousers and take a look. She made sure he wasn't the culprit. When she got home in the evening, Sister Pei found that the window of her house had been forced open. There was an unknown liquid on the bed. There was also a text on the computer screen. Pei panicked. For the first time, Pei felt panic. When Pei had finished washing up, a strong wind suddenly blew outside. At that moment, her neighbor Wang Xiaoshui suddenly came to visit. He closed the door and windows for her. Sister Pei and Wang Xiaoshui had always had a mutual affection for each other. When there was nothing else to do, Sister Pei often used binoculars to watch Wang Xiaoshui. The flirtatious atmosphere instantly heated them up, just as Wang Xiaoshui was about to make his move, but he suddenly ran away. This was a great disappointment to Sister Pei. That day, the robbers forced their way into Pei's home again, but this time she was well prepared. She took the scissors from the floor and stabbed the thug through the palm of his hand. She ripped off his mask. Sister Pei was dumbfounded when she saw him. It was her favorite man, Wang Xiaoshui. In the end, Wang Xiaoshui was exposed and ran away. Sister Pei was driving that day. A deer suddenly appeared in front of her. In order to avoid the deer, Sister Pei swerved and crashed into a tree in front of her. She couldn't get out because her leg was stuck in the car. Pei called her best friend's ex-husband, but she couldn't get through. She had no choice but to call Wang Xiaoshui. In the end, Wang Xiaoshui managed to save her. He even bandaged her up carefully. After Pei's injuries had healed, Wang Xiaoshui invited Sister Pei to his home for dinner. After dinner, he brought Sister Pei into the basement. It turned out that Wang Xiaoshui had always had a mental disorder. He liked some strange tools. Sister Pei had no choice but to put up with all this. I thought this was the end of the story. Sister Pei and Wang Xiaoshui would live a happy life with their children, but it wasn't that simple. That day, Sister Pei's company won a big project. She took the staff outside to celebrate. Then Pei found her partner's best friend. She confessed her secret with her ex-husband. She said that she now had Wang Xiaoshui. She didn't need him anymore. When she found out the truth, she left the house in tears. In the evening, Wang Xiaoshui drove Sister Pei home. Sister Pei suddenly said, "I think I should be punished." Wang Xiaoshui thought this was a hint to himself. So the next day, Wang Xiaoshui redressed as the thug. The two of them played a role play. Sister Pei was also very realistic in her role. Suddenly a man in black attacked Wang Xiaoshui. Wang Xiaoshui pulled off his hood and saw what was happening in front of him. He knew he had been set up by Sister Pei. The attacker was Sister Pei's son. And all this was a means of revenge for Sister Pei. In the end, the son was found not guilty of self-defense, and her best friend thought it was her ex-husband, and she makes up with Pei. And that's the end of the film. Pei is a completely independent person. She plays Tai Chi with life. Fate has given her. She lives up to the stubborn thugs. For hours Pei doesn't cry and cry. He chose to accept what he couldn't control. What she can control, she doesn't let go. Pei is not perfect in the film, but he is not subservient. He's on an even keel with fate. By the way, he's even with life. The movie He, starring Isabelle Juppel. The film is suspenseful and dramatic throughout. A film well worth watching.